Hi, guys. Welcome back to my podcast. Oops, I'm talking again. I'm your host, Hannah, and I am so sorry. This took me approximately 37 years to come up with a third podcast. I have been so unbelievably busy lately, and that is my own fault for starting my podcast when I did. I didn't really think about how not time consuming, but yeah, kind of time consuming. You have to sit down for an hour or two with no disruptions, and that is very hard with an infant. Like today, I have work off and John isn't home. So I have probably a half hour to an hour, maybe, to be able to record this. My baby is currently napping. He just fell asleep. And sometimes he only naps for 15 minutes. Sometimes it's 2 hours. So I guess we will see. But if anything, he will just be background noise, and I don't want that. I'm sure that annoys some people, but you know what? It's either you guys get no podcast or something. But most likely he will be in the background. I started my podcast probably a month ago. I probably haven't recorded for like a month. I don't know the last time I got a podcast out, but it definitely, I think, has been over a month now, and I am so sorry about that. I shouldn't have started one whenever I've been so busy. I'll definitely get more podcasts out once I am done with daycare, which is August 22nd is my very last day of daycare, and it'll be here before you know it. But yeah, even then, my baby's gonna be with me most days. There's been a couple of times where John has told me hey, I'll take care of Callan, you go record a podcast, but I rarely see him because he works. We have long work days and then we get home and I just want to hang out with him and my baby. So I don't feel like going and sitting in my room by myself while he hangs out with our baby. So that's why I just have not gotten around to recording another one because we've been so busy with weddings, just family get togethers. And then whenever I finally do have time to just hang out with them, that's what I want to do. I don't want to go do a podcast. But since he is sleeping right now, I'm going to try and get one done because so many people have been messaging me and commenting that they want another podcast. So we're going to do that. Today, I thought that I would talk about pre-pregnancy, my pregnancy, my delivery. I might kind of touch base on my postpartum must-haves, the things that I found that I really wanted, needed, and all of that fun stuff. But I kind of jotted down a few things here in my notes just so I have something to kind of go off of because otherwise I will ramble like crazy and I'll never get this done and it will be a 5-hour podcast. But I'm sorry if this recording is kind of choppy and doesn't sound the greatest. Again, I am only recording this off of my iPhone. Until we have a garage built, I will not have a podcast studio. So I am just using my little iPod that I use to record all of my videos on. My whole entire life, I have wanted to be a mom. I've always fully believed that I was put on this earth to be a mom. Ever since I was 2 years old, I was absolutely obsessed with baby dolls. I carried them around everywhere. I played with baby dolls for far too long. I was in middle school and I would have continued to probably play with them up and through high school if it wasn't for my mom, kind of being all right, you're old enough now. Let's stop bringing your baby dolls to school. I just absolutely loved it. And thankfully I had a best friend through elementary school, and she's still my best friend, but we played baby dolls every single day and we did not care what people thought. We brought them to school, we brought them on the bus, we made fake credit cards, we had car keys, we would load them up in my mom's minivan and pretend to drive them around. I did nighttime routines with my babies, daytime routines. I brought them to the store. I just always wanted to be a mom, and since I obviously couldn't become a mom when I was 8 years old, baby dolls had to do. like and I loved them. I loved them. It made me sad whenever I had friends that just didn't really care to play with baby dolls. So I pretty much lived with my friend. Her name's Caitlin. Caitlin, if you're listening to this, you know. But I pretty much moved in with her and she came to my house a lot too. But we just loved baby dolls and we both wanted to be moms more than anything. And now we're both gonna be moms. I'm a mom and she's about to have her first baby, and it's just crazy that we're at the point where we're actually moms now. But yeah, my whole entire life I wanted to be a mom. If it was socially acceptable, or like not socially, what's the word? If it was not frowned upon or looked down on, I probably would have become a mom like the first year I started dating John. But obviously we had a lot to do still. We had life to live, and um, my brain wasn't fully developed. Actually, they say your brain doesn't develop until you're, what, 25? And I had a baby at 24. So I guess my brain wasn't developed by the time I had a kid. But a lot of people, I think, have in their minds that your life kind of ends whenever you have children. And I completely disagree with that. And I'm sure like there are some people that have children and they love their children, but it did change their life and it has been more stressful than before they had children. And but for me, thankfully, I fully believe that my life started whenever I had my baby, and I always knew it would be that way. I had a very easy transition into motherhood. There are days that are challenging. Like, obviously, there's days that he's like fussy, and things do become more challenging whenever you have a baby. But both my husband and I agree, like, it's more enjoyable. Like, for example, we went to Florida on a vacation back in April, and yeah, like, it's more challenging. You have more stuff, you have a diaper bag along with your stuff. You have a stroller, you have a crying baby sometimes, you have less arms, like you're going to the beach, like you're worrying about your baby getting like dehydrated or overheated, that kind of stuff. Like, sure, that stuff is a little bit more stressful and it like adds more to it, but it is so much more enjoyable and it's like fun. And yes, our baby is not gonna remember our trip to Florida whenever he was 6 months old, but we do. But I was talking to John and my husband, and thankfully, like, I don't know, we both agree completely that life is just so much more enjoyable. Yes, more busy. Um, I wouldn't say stressful. Like, there are moments where it's like, oh my gosh, like, even like this 4th of July, I found it so much more fun and enjoyable having a baby with me, but it's just not the same. Like, a couple of years ago, I would go out, party, get drunk, have the best time of my life with no worries in the world except for making sure that I didn't like black out or I don't know. And now I have complete like full responsibility over a human. Like, but I would take this over my old life any day. It's amazing. Anyway, I'm rambling, but I just love being a mom so much. Let's get into my pregnancy. So, John and I got married September of 2023, and it was very, very, very hard for me not to decide to start a family literally the night of our wedding. But I was in one of my friends' weddings exactly 9 months after, or like 10 months after our wedding. So I'm like, either I would be like a day postpartum, about to pop something. So I'm like, hey, we gotta wait. And then also, I told my daycare families like I was gonna wait to get pregnant um, until one of my daycare children turned like 2, because otherwise I wouldn't have room for my own baby or I wouldn't have room for their kid. And so I was pretty much revolving, even though I wanted to be a mom, I was revolving getting pregnant around other people. And every single month that passed that I wasn't pregnant or deciding not to start a family was so mentally draining on me. Like, I was so depressed. I cried every single month that I wasn't pregnant, or that we were preventing it and like we didn't want to be pregnant because, oh, this person would be upset if we got pregnant, or oh, I don't want this person to be mad that we decided to get pregnant now, blah, blah, blah. Which I will say, one of my daycare families, whenever I did decide to tell them I got pregnant, which I told them I was pregnant very early so that they could like figure out childcare and stuff, because I took a 3-month maternity leave, but I told them very early. Like, it was before my first ultrasound. I was probably 7, 8 weeks pregnant whenever I told my daycare families. And I truly believe that this daycare parent didn't mean it rudely, but it definitely like kind of ate me alive after they said this to me. Like, it just like it wasn't the right time. I already was nervous that I got pregnant earlier than I told them, because this daycare parent had a child that was 1 year old. So obviously they were going to be under 2 by the time I had my baby. So we would have to get a variance, or like I might not have room for their baby, something. But they came into my house that day and dropped their kids off. And she said, I thought you were going to wait for us. Or I thought what did she say? She was like, I thought that you were going to wait until this child turned 2 or something. And I was like, sorry, like that already was stressful for me that I was deciding to do what was best for me and my family. And then that comment, and then she laughed, like whatever. But I was like, okay, like sorry that I got pregnant. I don't know. What do you want me to do? Like, you, like, for example, my daycare families didn't have to ask me for permission to get pregnant. Like, they get to start their families whenever they want. It was just a lot of pressure. So then finally, I think one night, John and I were just sitting down, and I had like a mental breakdown that we were revolving our life around other people. And, oh, I don't want to be pregnant for this, or I don't want to be pregnant for that. But I'm like, that kind of stuff does not matter to me. Like, I would rather have a baby right now than be able to drink one night at somebody's wedding, or I would rather have a baby and start my family right now rather than somebody be upset with me. Like, and both John and I wanted to be parents so badly. So we were like, you know what? It's time that we put ourselves first, because both John and I are such people pleasers. We're like, it's time that we put ourselves first, like for once in our life. So this was December that we started talking about this. And at the beginning of December, I started doing a ton of research on like how to prepare my body for pregnancy and like what to do. And it was like, start prenatal, start like eating a lot of like whole foods and healthy foods, and start being like more active. And so like the beginning of December, I got prenatals, and I started taking those, and I started like eating foods that were recommended for like fertility and like healthy pregnancy and all this stuff. And John too, we both didn't like drink any alcohol or anything for December, January. And so we were like preparing. And then I started tracking my ovulation. I bought a big bag at Walmart of these ovulation test strips. And yeah, we started that after my cycle ended in December. And so January came around, and I started tracking my cycle, and I ovulated, and then I found out that I was pregnant 8 days post ovulation. And I am very, very, very thankful that I was able to get pregnant right away in our first try. I understand a lot of people aren't so lucky, and I feel so horrible for people that do go through like fertility issues. And I just always think like that month was like the longest month of my life. And it really put into perspective like how long some people truly do try to get pregnant. And it like made me look at it so differently, because I don't know, that month felt like 6 months. So I couldn't imagine the people that try for like months, years trying to get pregnant, like how like draining. Like, it has to be draining. Like, it has to become almost like a chore or like a job. Like, it's not fun. I don't know. I just, people, like, if any of you struggle with infertility or have, I am so sorry. Like, I can't imagine how like stressed and how much of a strain that might have put on like your marriage. I mean, it might not have put a strain on your marriage, but I just know like if that was me, it would have. I don't know, but made me look at it totally differently after I went through it. And thankfully, we got very blessed to get pregnant on the very first time. And I was thinking for sure that it would take like 3 months or a little while. And oh, I'll take prenatals and stuff 3 months before you get pregnant, because that's what's recommended, is to take prenatals during your childbearing years. And they highly recommend you take them for like 3 months before you get pregnant and all of this stuff. But yeah, I would say we tried for 1 month. Well, technically only a couple of weeks. And I was a psycho. I literally was taking pregnancy tests every single day, even like the first day I ovulated. Like, so dumb. You can't even get a positive pregnancy test that early. But I just was like, oh, but what if I got pregnant at the beginning of the month and I ovulated but missed it? And I don't know. So then I was taking pregnancy tests. I probably took like 47 pregnancy tests, you guys. It's not even funny. That is such a waste of money, but I did. And then one morning I was, 8 days post ovulation, and I took a test, and there was just the faintest line, like faint, but there was a line. And if you see any kind of line, like, you're pregnant. And it was a pink dye. I think it was a First Response or something like that. I think that's the name of the brand. But there was a little tiny pink line. And I remember I was telling my cousin was the only one that knew that we were trying for a baby at this time. And I was talking to her about it, and she's like, oh, I don't know, maybe test again tomorrow and then tell John, but I was just so excited. Like, I'm like, I don't know for sure if I'm pregnant yet, but I might be. So I told John that I was pregnant, even though I wasn't for sure. But I was like, there's a line. And I took multiple, and there was a line on every single one. But it was like so faint. Like, even on a picture, you guys would be like, that's so negative. But then I got like this app where you put the picture in and like you turn it black and white or something. And like there was a line there. So I'm like, hey, I'm pregnant. Like, even the digital ones kept saying not pregnant. The very next day, though, when I was like 9 days post ovulation, the digital ones were positive. It said pregnant. But then after that, like I called and made my appointment with my doctor and was like, hey, I'm pregnant. And I don't know why, like you just expect, because you're so excited, but you just expect like the person on the phone to be like, congratulations, or like happy. No, they're like, all right, when did you miss your period? When was your, like, they're just so serious. And I'm like, tell me congratulations, I'm pregnant. But like, I'm, I'm sure they can't do that because I don't know, like you might not be pregnant. It could be a chemical pregnancy. You could miscarry. So they probably have to stay pretty like monotone. But yeah, let's see. I have tried for 1 month, prepared my body. I stopped drinking. I tracked my ovulation. Um, I talked about how I would have gotten pregnant earlier if it wasn't for other people in my life kind of putting in my ear, which that is totally my fault. I could have got pregnant. I just never put myself first. And now, like from here on out, I'm not going to be revolving my pregnancy around other people. And if I could give you guys any tips or advice, don't revolve your pregnancy and your life around other people. Do what you think is best for yourself and your husband or your partner or your family. Just, I don't know. I've spent so many years just caring too much what people think of me, or like uh not ever putting myself first. And after I became a mom, it really put into perspective like that I need to stop doing that. And I've been much happier. So just do what's best for you. Like, let me just say, like, it's worth it to do what's best for you. I told my husband that night that I found out, even though I wasn't sure I was pregnant. We were both very excited. I just like set up a little thing on my bed with like, this is funny. I knew that I knew that we were trying for a baby. So in December, I bought a bunch of stuff on Amazon, like to announce to John that I was pregnant. Like, we are expecting book, a onesie, like, I can't wait to meet you, daddy, a candle that said DILF on it. Like, I got that for the day that I did become pregnant, even if it was 6 months down the road. At least I had something to prepare for that, so I didn't have to like, I don't know, I'm extra. But I put all of that out on the bed and he came in and yeah, we were both very excited. It just didn't feel real though. Like, it truly didn't feel real for a very long time. I feel like even now it doesn't feel real. It's just so weird that I have a whole human that I'm responsible for. I started getting nauseous around 7 to 8 weeks pregnant. I was really, really hoping that I was one of the lucky ones that didn't get like nauseous or sick or anything. Cause like my mom, she said she felt better pregnant than she did not pregnant. She never got any nausea. She never got sick. She said there was one time when she was pregnant with me that she like threw up from the smell of garlic, but that was like the absolute only thing. No, I hit like 7 weeks pregnant, 8 weeks pregnant, and smells, like especially meat, like burgers. And you know how whenever you cook meat in your house, the smell lingers for like a whole entire day or two? Like, I swear, it just like doesn't go out. And of course, like, I got pregnant in January, so it was like negative 30 degrees out where I live, and you can't just crack a window open. And for some reason, John all the time would bring meat home and cook it. And I'm like, since when do you like cook? Like, why are you all of a sudden cooking all this meat now that I am dying of nausea? Oh, excuse me. Dying of nausea. Like, I was so irritated. I would sit on the couch crying with a chip clip over my nose because he just got done making a steak or something and I wanted to absolutely die. I would sit in my bedroom and shove a blanket under like the door to like keep it from whatever. But after that night, he didn't make meat again until I was like out of that. But I just remember constantly feeling like motion sickness, like after you just get off of a really spinny ride at the carnival. I constantly felt like that. And it was not only in the morning for me. I was actually more sick in the evenings. Like 6 o'clock hit. It was weird. 6 o'clock hit and I felt like absolute horseshit. Like, it was horrible. I would just sit there and I'm like, And I know that I should have thrown up, like I should have puked or made myself puke, but I didn't. I just sat there miserably. Like I think I would have started to feel a little better if I just would have thrown up. I just remember there was multiple times throughout daycare, and I don't like to like do a lot of screen time at my daycare. I like them to do like open play and free play and like do their own thing. My first trimester and my last trimester of daycare, they got a lot of screen time because I physically could not move. Like I just remember Miss Rachel being on in the background, like icky sticky sticky bubble gum, bubble gum, and I was just over the toilet sitting there like, oh my god, oh my gosh, and Miss Rachel's just singing in the background, and I just wanted to cry. I think there was a couple times I did cry because there was 10 kids screaming and Miss Rachel was singing and I needed to throw up. And yeah, the first couple of weeks there with daycare were horrible. Horrible. But yeah, I definitely didn't have the easiest first trimester, but it wasn't awful either. I just felt sick. And I've only ever met like one or two other people that can understand what I'm about to say. But whenever you have like how do I explain this? Okay. You have an early flight, like 5 a.m., but you got to get up at like 2:53 in the morning and you wake up and you just feel icky. Like, I don't know if anybody else gets that like early morning traveling nausea. I get it every time. Like if I don't have a full night's sleep and my metabolism like starts going too early and I feel nauseous. That's how I felt all the time. I don't know. It was just gross. Like I definitely wasn't like crippled up like I was, but oh man, like I definitely felt icky. And thankfully that stopped right at like 11 weeks. I wasn't even quite into my second trimester. It lasted only like 3 weeks for me, but those 3 weeks felt like forever because I just felt gross. I don't know, man. Not my favorite. Second trimester now was, I have in my notes, blissful, beautiful, amazing. I enjoyed every tiny second of it. I loved my second trimester. I loved being pregnant. Like I loved being pregnant. I was a weirdo. My whole life I also was obsessed with pregnant people. Like I was just obsessed with pregnancy and pregnancy bellies. Like I just find pregnant people so beautiful. Like I love bellies and it's so cool. But I was so excited for the day that I actually looked pregnant and not chubby. Like I didn't just look bloated. Like you could tell with like a t-shirt on that I was pregnant. I couldn't wait for that day. And I think I started to actually look pregnant around 16 weeks. And then like 22-ish weeks, it was like, hey, she's pregnant. Like she's for sure pregnant. And I actually, yeah, like my second trimester, I started to feel kicks very early on. I started to feel flutters at like 14 weeks. I had a posterior placenta, so that helped. Like it was in the back, so I felt every little kick on the front. But I started to feel tiny flutters at like 14, 15 weeks, like where I could tell it was not gas bubbles. And then I started feeling full on kicks like at 16, 17 weeks. John was able to feel him kicking at, I think it was like 18, 19 weeks. And then like you could start seeing it from the outside at 20 plus weeks. With my pregnancy, but I have always struggled with like I don't like to wear like tight shirts or tight dresses and stuff. Like I've just always like had a little bit of a belly or like a pooch, so I always felt like I had to suck in or like look a certain way. And with being pregnant, I could just wear the tight dresses, I could wear the tight shirts. I felt confident whenever I was pregnant, and I don't know, I personally just loved it. I loved it. And also I remember a lot of people telling me like, oh, just you wait for food whenever you're pregnant. It tastes 10 times better. It is absolutely amazing. Like, you're gonna, like, I gained 60 pounds because I couldn't stop eating because I was just so hungry all the time. All I remember when I was pregnant was I couldn't wait to be done being pregnant, so food tasted good again. Like food was just so bland to me, like nothing tasted good when I was pregnant. I did not want to eat. Like I never got like any like big cravings. Obviously people are like, "Oh, you craved Taco Bell when you were pregnant." I like Taco Bell, but I liked it just as much not pregnant. Like it's not because I was pregnant that I like Taco Bell. I just like Taco Bell. Like I like Taco Bell just as much. The only time I remember like actually like craving something like I needed it was my first trimester, Honey Crisp apples peeled and sliced. So weird, but it couldn't be the whole apple, couldn't have the peel on it. But it was like, I think it was just refreshing and cold. And like, I felt nauseous and it was the only thing that like tasted good to me. And in my first trimester, the only thing that like brought me some relief was like Jolly Ranchers or like sour candy because I just felt sick all the time. I couldn't. Oh, and I remember telling myself in the first trimester, it's the most important for the baby's development and brain development, only eat lean meats, fruits, vegetables. No. Are you kidding me? I'm pretty sure the only thing I could stomach was, well, I had some like saltine crackers, but I didn't eat much at all. But like fast food was the only thing that like sounded like somewhat decent. Even that though, like I would take a bite and I just didn't want it. But I did not eat fruits or vegetables, I don't think, for one day my whole entire first trimester. And I told myself, I'm like, that's all I'm going to eat. No, I couldn't stomach it. I could not get myself to eat fruits and vegetables. Sorry, baby, but mom had to eat something, and it was fast food. And for some reason, whenever I feel gross, sometimes like I usually crave fast food. I don't know why. If I feel sick, I want a cheeseburger from McDonald's or a beef and cheddar from Arby's, okay? Or a Crunchwrap from Taco Bell. I don't want a freaking strawberry, and I don't want some broccoli. Okay? Okay. Even though I know that's better for the baby, I just didn't want that. Let's see here. I had my gender reveal at 13 weeks. I did the NIPT, like genetic testing, early on. You can do that through, at my hospital at least, you can do it through there. You have to pay like $350 for it, but it tests for like a bunch of different genetic disorders and um the gender and stuff. And I just remember my aunt was the gender keeper for my gender reveal, and we tried to find a weekend that like worked for both John and I, and she knew for like 2 or 3 weeks what the gender was before we did. And it like ate me alive. I'm like, okay, let's just find out. Let's not even, excuse me, do the gender reveal. But yeah, we found out early on the gender. We did a like closet. I don't know if you guys have seen my video of my gender reveal. You can look it up if you want, but it's like a big white closet, and there was either pink outfits in there or blue outfits, and obviously they all ended up being blue, but it was so fun. We had all of our close family and friends there, and it turned out to be awesome. I am still using, we also did like a diaper raffle. Highly recommend doing a diaper raffle if you do a baby shower or anything, because to this day, I've bought a couple things of diapers, but that was like my own doing because I wanted to try a different kind of diaper, but I didn't have to. Like I still have boxes of diapers, and my baby is over 8 months old from the gender reveal diaper raffle. We had our baby's name picked out it was the night of our gender reveal. So John and I could not agree on a name. Like I actually was like left in tears a couple of times because he hates every single name. He likes just very, very like normal names, and that is fine. But like, for example, you guys, and I'm so sorry if this is your kid's name or like somebody you know's name, I just was not a big fan of it. He really wanted something with 3 letters, like so it could be like quick and fast with sports, and like he can just yell it. Dumb, I know. He like jock, like a jock strap, like a nut cup. Are you kidding me? I don't want to, hey, jock. Like that, it reminds me of like a horse, right? Isn't a horse a jock? And a nut cup, like your jock strap. But I was like, I'm not naming my kid Jock. And there's a lot of names they're decent names. Like they're good names. Like they're not names where you're like, oh, that's horrible. But they're just names that like, I didn't want to name my child this. Like these names are like, I don't know. It was names like Brittany and Emily, and those are beautiful names. Like I don't not like those names, but I just didn't want those for my child. I don't know. Like those are people's names like my age, or I don't know. If that's your child's name, love that name. Just didn't want it for my baby. And one night we were laying there, and he just didn't like anything unique. Anything unique. And I, for like 5 years now, have like had my boy name picked out. It was Callum. Calum. I was dead set on Callum. I love the singer Callum Scott. Absolutely love it. John and I have a song that's our song, and it's by Callum Scott. So I'm like, I just love the name Callum. But our last name, I like one day put the first and last name together. Don't know why I didn't do that in the past, but Callum Solum, like the lum. Wasn't a fan. I don't like whenever the first and last name are, they're just similar, very similar. And I was like, oh no, like now we're not going to be able to use that. And then he wanted just Cal, Cal, but that sounds weird in my mouth. Cal, it sounds like I'm saying cow. You know what I mean? Cow. It sounds like moo, the animal. You know what I mean? So I was like, I don't want just cow. Like, I don't like that. And then my mom sent me like a TikTok reel, and the name Callan was in there, and I was like, oh, I like that. Like, I've never heard the name Callan. I actually had never heard the name Callan before. My mom sent me this video, and I was like, oh, I really like that name. And I brought it up to John, and I'm like, I'm not even going to bring it up to him. He's going to hate it. And he was like, I actually really like that name. And I was like, Are you kidding me? That's his name then. All right, dead set. That was the night of our gender reveal at 13 weeks pregnant. And ever since, that has been what we have named him. That's what we talked to him whenever we would talk to him in my belly. We called him Callan. But then, of course, I'm very indecisive, so I'd like bring up other names. There's so many other names that I really liked. I should actually pull up my list now of the names that we really liked. I'm curious if we'll use any of our old names for our next children. I'm going to walk over into my room right now and check on my baby sleeping. You guys, Callan has been sleeping for over 30 minutes now. This is like a new record for him to be sleeping on his own in a crib. There's no way I have much longer, so I need to talk quicker. Let's see. First trimester must-haves. Oh, I didn't write down my first trimester must-haves. Let's see if I can think of anything on top of my head. But if you have like nausea, highly recommend like ginger ale, ginger chews, sour candy for some reason really helped me. A cold peeled sliced Honeycrisp apple. I feel like I didn't really like need anything my first trimester, just things to try and help with nausea that did not help with nausea. Like all of the things that people say would help with nausea didn't help me. But after I was done being nauseous, I read from many of you guys commenting that alcohol wipes, like to smell the alcohol wipes or just alcohol, rubbing alcohol in general. And that helps, which after I had my baby, I got nauseous from the morphine and they had me smelling the alcohol wipes and it did bring me some relief. So maybe try that. But otherwise, you don't really need anything the first trimester just to try and survive, I guess. The prenatals that I used are the 1-a-day advanced. It's very important to make sure that you're getting a lot of choline in your diet. And I personally was not going to get a lot of choline in my diet, so I got the prenatal vitamins with choline in them. Choline is very important for brain development for the early first few weeks with your baby. I think that they say it's actually very important throughout like the whole pregnancy, but like especially the first few weeks, you need that folic acid and the choline and stuff for adequate development. And a lot of prenatals don't have choline in them, and that choline or the 1-a-day advanced has the choline. You can get 1-a-day, but the 1-a-day choline has, or advanced has the choline. I did a ton of research on prenatals and I didn't feel like spending $100 every month on the really like fancy one. So I was like, what are the best? I looked up a lot of videos of like what like doctors and stuff recommended from like over the counter drugstores like Target and stuff, and the one that had the most like the best amount of vitamins and stuff in them were the 1-a-day advanced, and so that's what I went with. I actually just stopped taking them a couple of months ago, but they say to continue taking them throughout like breastfeeding and your childbearing years, so I think that I'm going to start taking them again just because we plan on having a couple of more kids, and it's just I get so sick of taking pills. Like I took them every single day, but I just don't want to take them. But I think I'm going to start taking them. But yeah, those are the vitamins that I decided to take. Oh, here, I do have it written down what I say. I put in for first trimester, ginger ale, hard candies, apples, comfy ass clothes, vitamin E oil. So yes, just you want to be comfortable. Like the older I get, like comfort is just so important. You want to be comfortable all the time, like baggy shirts, baggy pants, just pretty much like just wear pajamas all day long, which thankfully for my job, I get to wear pajamas if I want. Like even my clothes that aren't pajamas, they look and feel like pajamas. I am constantly comfortable. I don't dress for cuteness anymore. I dress for comfort because that is so important to me, especially whenever you feel like crap. You don't want to be in tight, uncomfortable clothes. You want to be in the comfiest clothes that you can possibly have. Like nightgowns, which I don't find nightgowns that comfortable. Like I like having pants on. I'm weird. I like to sleep with pants on. I like the saggiest, baggiest pants that you can have or shorts. Um, vitamin E oil. Vitamin E is very good for like skin elasticity. Like it like helps your skin like stretch and like something. But I just for my oil that I used, which I didn't get any stretch marks. Well, I did on my boobs towards the end whenever my milk came in because my boobs went from a B cup to like a triple D because of my milk. So obviously you're gonna get stretch marks with that. But I got lots of stretch marks on my tatas. But my stomach, thighs, I didn't get any stretch marks, which a lot of that is genetic. I know there's many people that like apply all this oil and they still get stretch marks. A lot of the times it's genetic, it's just the way your skin is, but it's just from experience. I didn't get any stretch marks, and every single day, even before I started getting like a belly, like the day I found out I was pregnant, I started to put on, I think I just used like Palmer's vitamin E. Just make sure it has vitamin E in it, but it was like coconut. Oh, my baby's waking up. I can go grab him. But just so you guys know, from here on out, he is most likely going to be making some kind of noise in the background because he is waking up. All right, we have Callan here with us. Can you say hi? Did you get a good nap in? Yeah, you smiling? No, you can't have mommy's phone. You can't have mommy's phone. Let's get you some toys. Hi. I missed you when you were napping. I did. Yes. Thank you for napping. You napped for 37 minutes, buddy. That's a new record. Yeah. Okay, second trimester must-haves. Even if I didn't use these myself or anything, like I've just heard from many other people that they like enjoyed these things or this is what got them through their second trimester, but some of them I agreed with. Hey, you don't touch mommy's phone. You quit that. Here. Okay, second trimester must-haves. Heating pad. A lot of people get like sciatica pain or like just like pain because your body is stretching and moving rapidly. Like a heating pad just can bring so much relief whenever you're having those pains. But ice too, like ice packs can help with inflammation. So if you're like inflamed, definitely do the ice packs. It will bring you some relief. You can't have pain medication, like you can't have acetaminophen or like ibuprofen and stuff whenever you're pregnant. They say that Tylenol is safe, but there are a lot of like, not research. Yeah. Like there's an article recently that Tylenol has been found to like cause a few things with the fetal development and stuff, but that's like if you take over like 28 things of Tylenol or something. Like it's like a lot of it. I just remember I got COVID in my first or second trimester and that was not fun. And I had the worst headache of my whole entire life. I couldn't function and I had to still do daycare during that time. I definitely took a Tylenol a couple of times because otherwise I would have been dying. Like I needed the Tylenol, but those ice packs and heating pads or heating packs definitely will help. You know what? I didn't talk about this, but guys, I didn't talk about this at all. Back to my first trimester, I had quite a few symptoms actually before I even got my positive test. I had intense implantation, like very intense. I don't really have like painful periods or like strong menstrual cramps or anything like that, but my first trimester, or I was kind of pregnant, or I was becoming pregnant. Like right after I ovulated, I remember sitting in my living room and I was about in tears because of the pain from my implantation. And I was like, okay, my period isn't supposed to be here for a couple of more weeks. I've never had menstrual cramps or anything like this ever. This, like, especially that far before my period came. But I had that. And then the day I got the faint positive, I think it was the day I got my faint positive. It was either the day before I got my very, very first faint positive test or the day of I got implantation bleeding. And I think only like 20% of people get implantation bleeding. Actually, like nobody I know personally ever had implantation bleeding, but I did. And it was different than period blood. Sorry, this is TMI, you guys, but I don't care about TMI. I will tell you how it is and I'll tell it grossly. But it was like a pinkish blood rather than like period, like brownish red blood. It was pink and light. Like it was like clearish pink. And I was like, I've never had that before. So I had like a lot of signs that I was like, okay, I'm definitely becoming pregnant because I've never had any of this kind of stuff happen to me. Another thing that happened to me that I found out is a very common early sign of pregnancy. I woke up one morning and I could not move my neck. I had the stiffest neck ever and I was in the worst pain I had ever been in. It was awful. I couldn't turn my head left at all. Like I could only move right. I sat there and like heated and iced my neck for 2 days straight. Careful, buddy. Um, and then I found out that from the hormones like flushing through your body, like you can like tense up. Like I didn't even sleep weird. I thought that I did, but I'm like, I didn't sleep weird or hard or anything. But I found out that is an early sign of pregnancy. So I got implantation, cramps, bleeding, and a stiff neck. A very, very stiff neck. It was awful. But those are, I think, the only signs of pregnancy that I had before I got a test. And then obviously, like, I got the like sore boobs and all of that, but that was after I already knew that I was pregnant. And then none of my other like symptoms, like I really didn't have any other symptoms with pregnancy other than the nausea in my first trimester. I actually, like, throughout my second trimester, I didn't feel pregnant at all. Like, the only reason that I felt pregnant was like sometimes I'd feel him kick or I would look down and I had a belly. But otherwise I felt the exact same as before I was pregnant. Like, I was like, I could literally get down on the floor right now and do the worm because I don't feel pregnant. But I was. So I got very lucky there. I didn't like start to struggle through my pregnancy until probably, I think I was like 36 weeks pregnant. I started to feel like kind of claustrophobic. Like, whenever I ate, I was so full fast. Like, there felt like there was no room left in my stomach. And if I did have a big meal, I would like almost get anxious because I felt so claustrophobic. Like, there was just no room for anything. And like, especially if I sat down and like all of the weight from my baby was like on top of me. But yeah, I started to feel ready to be done, or like I had no patience. Like, towards the end, I was just like so anxious to meet him once I hit like 36 weeks. And then I was like done being pregnant, like to where I was like, why am I still working? When I hit like 37, 38 weeks pregnant, then I was like, okay, I'm ready for this baby to come out. Yeah, I don't know, man. But I definitely had a very great pregnancy. I've had nothing to complain about. But if I could give anybody advice, if you have the option to be able to not work like the last, like from 37 weeks until you have your baby, I would highly recommend it. That's probably one of my biggest regrets, was working up until my due date. I was due October 12th and I closed my daycare like October 12th. Like, and I don't know how I did it. It was so hard. I took care of 10 children every single day in my throughout my whole pregnancy. Actually, there's a couple of kids that stopped coming to my daycare September through like in September, so I only had like 8 kids at the end, but still, oh my gosh, like I think that it would have like been very like doable. I mean, I did it. I did it somehow, but it would have been a lot more enjoyable if I would have closed a little bit earlier just to enjoy it. But I only took 3 months off, and I really, really wanted all 3 of those months to be with my baby and not sitting on the couch, which I ended up having. Okay, I'm going to do a different podcast on like my induction and my like C-section and all of that kind of stuff. I'll probably end this podcast here soon because my child is all over the place and it's getting a little bit hard, but I could keep on talking for 3 more hours about all this because I love talking about pregnancy and postpartum and all this stuff. But I ended up having a failed induction. I got induced on October 10th, and then it ended up not working out. So I ended up having a scheduled C-section the following week. And that last week, just sitting on my couch, waiting to either go into labor or have my baby, was the longest week of my life. But it was nice having a scheduled C-section because I knew exactly when he was coming. So I was able to like really nest and like clean my house and prepare. And I was just hoping, like, with the amount that I moved around and was like high heart rate and like moving, which they actually say a lot of the times whenever you're moving around like that, you won't go into labor because your body's kind of in stress and you need to relax and get like the oxytocin hormones going. But I was sweating, moving around, doing things crazy, and I never had one tiny sign of labor. I never once had even the tiniest, like, oh, I might be going into labor soon. Nothing. Never like lost my mucus plug. Nothing. And I'll get into more like why I ended up having a scheduled C-section and like my experience with all of that in my next podcast. But I'm also going to talk about like my postpartum must-haves. And I know a lot of people probably are not interested in this podcast because I don't know, but I'm going to talk about it. And that's my next podcast is also going to be about this kind of stuff. So I am sorry if that is not the kind of stuff you like listening to. But yeah, my next one will be my experience, labor, my birth plan. I actually had the longest birth plan written up. I'll go through what was on my birth plan. And then it's just funny seeing my birth plan from my vaginal birth to my C-section. One is like super long and then the next has absolutely nothing on it. Postpartum must-haves, C-section must-haves, the things that I got to prepare for a vaginal birth. I'll probably talk about that on there also. But yeah, you guys, I'm going to try so hard to get a podcast out every week, but like until I am done with daycare, it most likely is not going to happen. But I only have, let's see, I have a little over a month left of daycare. So I'm going to try and get like more of a schedule down whenever I am done with daycare. Or even now, like I just want to sit down and like make a schedule of like what I want to do, because I don't want to go crazy, like not having anything planned. Like I want like Mondays to be like going to my mom's and filming cooking videos at her house. Tuesday be my podcast day. Wednesday be my editing day. Thursday be just being a mom day. Friday, like just kind of a little bit of a schedule. And my goal is to try and get ready every day. Like right now, I mean, I brush my teeth and put my hair up in a bun, but like I want to try so badly to like get up, still get ready, try and feel like a human so that I don't get like go stir crazy. Leave, go do things, bring my baby to the park, meet up with people, actually go grocery shopping in person, because I really like doing a good Target pickup or Walmart delivery. That is so convenient, so convenient. But I also love to like shop in person sometimes, but I also end up spending like $100 to $200 more if I go in person. So it is just best for us financially to do online orders. But yeah, you guys, it's fun talking to you. I enjoy doing this. I'm going to try really hard to keep these going. But you guys have a great day. I'm going to try and do all of my laundry. I'm staring at the messiest living room in mankind right now. It is destroyed with laundry. I'm going to try and get rid of like 3 garbage bags of clothes, because I've bought so many new clothes postpartum because I fit in none of my old clothes. So I don't have enough hangers for all of my clothes right now because I bought so many new outfits, but I need to go through and get rid of some so I don't go crazy, because I'm sick of having so many clothes. But I have in my mind like, oh, I'm going to fit in them one day, but I think I just need to get rid of them anyway, because maybe I won't fit in them one day, but I really want to fit back in them one day. I still got like 25 pounds to lose. I came home from the hospital and I have not lost like a pound since. I've lost like 7 pounds, I think, in the last like 2 months, but I'm pretty sure over the 4th of July, I just gained it all back. Definitely did, because it's good food, alcohol, it's just, you gain it all. All right, guys, I need to come up with an outro still. I don't have it, but you guys have a great day. Thanks for listening.